And we are live. This is the regular meeting of RFM. It's the 26th September. And with me is Joseph, Matt, and me, Robert. And I think for today, the only item on the agenda is probably a pull request, Joseph. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you already told us you had troubles to fix the tests. Is that right?
Yeah.
Shall we fix those tests together? What do you think?
Yep.
Who wants to share the screen?
Yeah, I'm currently doing a Docker Compose.
And there's Faith. Hello, Faith.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Your video, I think you forgot to lift a note from your camera. It's currently very dark. Or you can also just turn it off, as you wish. But it looks as if you were sharing your video.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
dark
want?
where Faith is, I think.
I'm just asking. I'm not suggesting you to turn on video. I'm just saying because I see when somebody's not sharing the video, I see the avatar.
Yeah.
Right now it's just black. So maybe you also just have a black avatar, but anyway.
No, I think people don't go changing their avatar very often, huh?
Also, I cannot see the avatar for you. Ah, there it is. Interesting.
I don't. I need to set myself up with an avatar. I just have this like
blue
body.
Let me see. I'm interested if I have an avatar. Where
yeah.
turn off my camera. Where? Yeah. Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah, you do. This is like a young Robert, or.
Yeah, it has been a while. I was way thinner back then. It's not so long ago, maybe 3 years.
Okay.
I gained weight a lot.
As you do when you get older?
Or when you get stressed?
It's always like this.
Or when you get what, Faith?
Stressed. When you're stressed, you could as well gain weight.
Yeah.
So Joseph is already sharing the screen.
Yeah, so I was okay. I have to I have to clear the this PID.
Yeah.
All the time it happens.
I checked out the build server, by the way. So the only thing that are breaking is front-end tests and full stack tests. But the full stack tests all fail because they get empty string as a locale, and that's not a valid locale, and that's it. But so if you, I guess that's a small fix.
This remove temp pid server pid, that's something that we added to our Docker file so that that's done automatically. I don't know if you wanna, if you think there's a reason to copy it or not, but
yeah, you can add it to the Docker file. Why not?
Okay, cool. I'll put in a PR. It's been a long time since I've put in a PR for RFM.
It wouldn't work if you have. Where does it? If it gets, I mean, it gets generated when you start Rails, so it will be persisted to a volume. Next time when you start the Docker container with Docker Compose, you will not run the Docker file, but since you have it on the disk, it will be copied over to the container. No?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think maybe I'd have to have a look at the Docker Compose for RFM because I think it's different, you know. But for us, it works. We added that, and like before we start the Rails server, we removed that, and we've never had a problem since.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it depends where you have the remove. If it's in the Docker file or if you have it somewhere in Docker Compose.
Yeah.
So you are currently, what are you actually using? Are you using Foreman or are you using Docker indeed? Joseph?
What?
Are you on Docker?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
So if I can
you actually run the tests on your machine? the front-end tests? Is it possible after all?
Yeah, I had copied the command. It's long.
Yeah.
Can't remember it. Docker.
I think it's docker compose exec front-end and then ambit test stuff. Since the Docker container, why can we use exec? Quiz question, why can we use exec here now? What is exec after all? Okay.
What are you saying? Sorry, exit?
Docker, compose, and then exit. What does exec?
Exec.
What does that mean?
Execute.
Yeah.
Execute. Yes. And what does it do?
Yeah, you were explaining the difference between run and execute.
It basically does the same thing. Run the container, will run a command in a container even if it's not yet started. Will run it if the container is started. So since he already booted up the containers, he can use exec.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
And there's a typo, I think. Oh no, the R is on the other side. It was just a break. All good.
And we are waiting.
Yes, this can take a while.
So while
But
it
you don't want
continues,
to run it in the front end. If you want run bundle and execute command, that's not something you want to run in the front end.
No.
Sorry. Yeah, actually, I don't want to do that. For the front, if it was full stack, then I would run Cucumber, right?
Yeah, in the full stack container, it can do that. You have the full stack container is based on the backend, similar to that one. So it has Ruby and Bundler and Capybara and all this and all that, and it can run full stack tests with Cucumber and Capybara. So then you would replace the front end container with the so-called full stack. Well, we call it the full stack container.
So if it's front end, then why am I using exec and it's JavaScript? Should it be like yarn test or something?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know why you want to use bundle in the front end because bundle is Ruby and there's no Ruby in the front end container.
Yeah.
But isn't it Amber test that you want to be running?
I think yarn run test is just a link to Amber test. So this could actually work. If not, then you can say Amber serve.
Yeah, we can just check the package JSON.
Yeah,
it works.
Look at that.
It does.
It
It
do
will not
test.
run the test server. It will run the test once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
and then terminate.
So you wanted me to run the test server?
Yeah. It's up to you. I mean, you can also just always run the tests on the command line. However, in the server, it's faster if you want to use it during development. It's a test server, and it's always watching your files and rerunning the tests.
Yeah, I think we should do that. Can I cancel?
You can, of course.
Control C.
Yeah, that should work.
Cleaning up. Oh yeah, so as I was saying, I managed to change instead of querying the database, the user, I saw that I can do session then the data.local, because when you log in, yeah, there's the data. Wait, not that one. Yeah, this one, because we only translate when you log in, and the first time you log in and you don't change the language, then this is set to English, but when you change it, then it will be the what in the language that you changed, let's say German or anything else you want. So this one was way better than doing
Yeah.
the asynchronous stuff.
So
But
you
I
rely.
had
What
I
you?
had
Yeah.
so when you do the session, let me move this screenshot on the other side. Where is it? Come on, man. Oh, I need to move the whole thing. Sorry for that.
No problem.
Yeah, so I did window.getSession after in, and then I saw there is this local here which is set to English.
Nice.
Yeah,
So you're relying
but
on the fact that this is set after you authenticate, right?
yeah, but then there's something wrong with the profile. This one, the lang never changes. Even if I change to German, this will always be EN. So I don't
Yeah.
know, this profile is coming from Twitter or?
No, the profile is actually coming from Auth0. That's our authenticator service.
And it's setting, so I tried to find where this lang EN is being saved, but I didn't see anywhere, so I gave up.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
yeah, because I wanted to change this so I can come to like user, I can do session, and then come to data.authenticated, then the profile, then the language. But anyway, this works.
I can show you where this language comes from. You're interested?
Yep.
Okay, let me quickly, give me 5 seconds, and I will show you your user profile on Auth0.
Let me move this so that, yeah, in a new window.
I'll quickly share my screen. That one. Can you see something? Yes.
Yeah, a loading page.
Loading page. So you can probably see in the URL, that's Auth0.
Yeah.
So I guess you signed up for switch tenant testing. Well, that's the call that the trying out instance of Auth0. So this is what you do when you log in on your laptop. So there's your profile.
Yeah.
And I can click on Joseph. And this will never change. This is done by Auth0 itself. I don't know how they get the language.
Yeah.
But there's something that is stored along with the profile on Auth0. For example, the location and EN. But this is not something that we stay safe or that
Okay.
right. So, and we're not doing anything with it. The only thing that we are actually interested in is the ID, and maybe an email, which is not here because you're logged in via Twitter, and there's no email that's coming from Twitter so far. For some reason, I don't even know why, but yeah, there's no email. Usually there would be. Twitter is an exception to it. So this language has never changed, but you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because we have the local.
That's it.
Yeah, but the only way, okay, why I wanted to use this profile is that, anyway, no one will ever do that, but when you like open a new tab, so let's say I'm on this one, I change to English, and then I go to another one. If I refresh the page, that's when I can, like, if I go to a new incognito mode, that's when I can get the switch, because this one is persisted on the browser and the database. So the only way to get that, if you having two windows, like here, and I open another window, this locale is not going to work.
Hmm.
You'll be on the previous one, and this one will be on the other one. But if you log in again, you log out and log in, then it will be the one that you saved the last.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this one you have to log in and log out.
How about let's fix that one? I don't think it will be that difficult. Like fix means fix the tests.
Yeah, because this is fine actually. No one wants to like switch tabs and change this to English and see it changing. Yeah. All right.
Does anybody wants to do that? Because Joseph just introduced you were working on it. Actually, I would like to do some knowledge transfer. And let someone else be the driver. How about
Yep,
Matt?
sure.
How about Faith? Faith, are you
Dominate.
working
Faith.
on it?
Faith, you're muted.
But still, you have never.
Sorry, what were you asking?
I was just suggesting that we might switch the driver. So I would be interested in maybe we can fix those problems right now.
The test.
Interested, because I guess, well, from the only thing that we are going to do in this regular meeting is probably fixing those tests. Matt or Faith, what did you were working on? I was very busy. I couldn't work for RFM. Are there any updates from your side, or can we dive into the code right now? Or do you want something to say? Did you work on something? Is there anything new from your side before we go into the code?
Faith?
Yeah, so I was trying to do the rec task of creating the Brickman, RSpec, and Robocop, but I didn't get the time to actually complete or do so much.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to test the rec task, and I noticed you've not tested rec tasks before.
No, they are not tests for that. Like, you mean software tests?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I didn't do that.
So that's what I started with, but I.
Yeah, I don't know if you actually need tests for rake tasks, because they get executed so many times on Travis that we should be notified when something breaks with the rake tasks. What do you think, Matt? Do we have tests for rake tasks?
I mean, we have had like we do have a DevOps like folder in the website one that tests some of our rake tests because they're being called by Heroku, and maybe yeah, they're like communicating with the GitHub API and stuff. So we do have some tests for those, but I'm not sure it's the same.
Yeah,
exactly.
So for RFM, I didn't see any test.
Yeah,
but I know the only reason why I would want. Okay, no, maybe not the only reason, but one reason why we would want to have test for the rec task is if our rec task depend on some other functionality in the app, in the event that it changes, we want also to have the same changes in the rec task. So like that's the only reason why I would think we'd want one. Beside that, I was trying to develop the skill of loving. Okay, I want to love TDD. I want to learn how it all works. So I was trying to like develop this habit of making sure that I start with the test.
Yes,
and then move to the code.
Actually. You've been telling me on how to write software tests for reg tests. I never did that.
Okay, yeah. So it's quite something. So I did like halfway, and then decided even to start writing the reg task before even the test were passing. Like it was just so, because I needed to have like some green things on my screen. So I abandoned the test and then tried.
No, you're not abandoning the test. It's all fine. It's all fine. I tell you how I do it.
Okay.
So when I'm very, very confident, I write the test first, and they are red, and then I do the implementation, and then they turn green. That's the ideal case. If I'm not yet confident, and especially if I'm not confident in the test setup.
Yeah, the setup actually is the tricky bit.
I do the following. I've run 2 tests.
Uh-huh.
One is green and tests existing behavior,
Okay.
This test is supposed to double check the test framework, the test setup, if everything, like the tests themselves, are working correctly. That's why it's green from the beginning. And then there's one test in which I expect to fail, which is very similar to the test that is testing existing behavior. But this one is actually failing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Maybe this helps you, because I think you're not very confident because it's so new to you, this whole concept of development.
Yeah. So
Just-
the whole idea that it's testing reg test, and I'm not so used to writing tests. So yeah.
Yeah, for example, you could write an existing test for, so you could write a passing test for the seed command.
The what command? The seed command.
Or something like even simpler. db create.
Okay.
And then, yeah, this should be easy.
Okay.
I hope. And then you can write, after you did that, you know how to write reg tasks, and you know how to test reg tasks, and then you can implement the whole reg task thing, what you actually wanted to do. And it's no problem to just add a software test to the repository. If you just want to write a software test for a reg task, yes, of course, you can do that. More tests is always welcome.
Yeah.
Nice. Matt, anything from your side then?
I mean, no, not really. I did pair with Joseph. We talked a bit about this PR. But no, not other than that, no. And like I'm always keen to drive, but if Faith is keen as well, then I think she should definitely do.
How was your talk? Was your talk recorded then?
Yeah. I haven't gotten. I don't think it's been published yet. I'm waiting, and I want to get your advice as well. I talked about RFM a little bit, and about democracy and stuff like that. So, I would like to be able to get like on that whole thing about democracy and stuff. There was a very good talk about Brazil's use of automated machines for voting, and yeah, like I want to get the talk for that and then post it in RFM in Agile Ventures community or somewhere like that, Tech Talk, I don't know, and get people's opinions on that, because I think it'd be really nice for us to, as a community, to talk about it,
Yeah, so you want to do what exactly? You want to talk about it somewhere else?
No, I was just gonna say when the talks have been published, then I'm gonna share my talk with everyone, because it'd be nice to get feedback on that. But then I also there's a couple of different talks that I listen to that I want to get people just like spur a conversation about. So and one of those is about is about democracy, which I think fits in well with what we do at RFM.
Absolutely, yeah. Just share with us as soon as it is public. So that means it is not yet public, neither your talk nor the one that you want to share with us.
Yeah, not that I'm not sure if they're going to send us a message like when they're released, or if we just need to go looking ourselves. But I haven't seen it yet. No, I'm just looking at the website now of the people that recorded it, and I don't see it. But as soon as it's available, I'm gonna. I mean, maybe I'll be looking now, and it'll be available.
Okay. Well, so this is it regarding the four of us. So back to topic. Fixing the front-end tests, at least. Who feels confident and who wants to be the driver, Faith or Matt?
I don't feel confident, but I want to be the driver.
Yes.
No, you're going to be the driver. That's it.
Yeah, so I'm lacking one requirement. I'm saying I'm lacking one requirement. I don't feel confident, but I don't mind. I would want to drive.
Yeah, but that's better because that's also one way of feeling confident, not to feel confident, and yet do it. Go for it. That's the spirit. I like that.
So, what's the difference between auth 0 and OAuth?
The difference between auth 0 and OAuth.
Yeah.
There is a huge difference. OAuth is a standard, is a specification, while auth 0 is a company.
Oh. So, stop laughing, Matthew. Or it's not Matthew, I'm playing.
No, that wasn't me this time.
And passport, why didn't you use like passport? Oh,
Why did I use passport? I don't
Yeah.
know passport yet. What is passport?
um,
Passport authentication. Passport.js.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Interesting. So passport is a framework, is another library, a Node.js library. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it's also different because auth 0 as a company is providing a service, not a library.
Oh, so don't have to do any configurations. Or just
They all do it for you.
But yeah. So how much do you pay anything or
No,
pay
we
for
are
that?
open, and we are doing it for. So I think the conditions are you have to be open source. You have to put the auth 0 badge on your front page. And you should not do any commercial activity with your application, which is the case for us.
Oh, okay.
And these are the 3 conditions, and they all met. So you just send them an email, and then you get into the open source program.
Nice.
I think there's not even a limit for how many users you're allowed to have.
Okay. Because if you are doing the authentication then yourself, you have to use the authentication API for Twitter, for Facebook, for Google.
Yeah, we don't have to do
But
that anymore.
for them, you just have one endpoint.
Exactly. There's one endpoint. You have to deal with one thing. That's what you have to do on your own. And auth 0 is doing the rest. The rest is just doing a switch, and that's it.
Okay. I'll have to make my own auth 0
Yeah.
then using passport.
Yes. Do your own passport thing. Like set up a service, use passport.js, and become a competitor of auth 0.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll switch to Joseph's authentication service.
Yeah.
You still need a name for it. Remember,
So
it
my
should be
test.
pronounceable in
Okay.
English.
What?
I said you need a name for your service, and I was about to say, try to
Catchy.
find a name that is easily pronounceable in English.
Catchy.
Oh.
Not like RFM.
Not like Artem.
Rundfunk mitbestimmen.
Lady Slugs make Bushman. Little Bushman. All right. My test. I can't start my test. I don't know what.
Yeah, that's interesting. Robert, have you run the test in Docker? I assume you have. And is it a different command than this Ember test with Surf, or?
No, it's the same. You're supposed to use export port 7357 from the Docker container to your host system. And you can have the thing running in the Docker container and access the tests in your browser. That should be possible. However, there was something wrong, or there was an issue with running the tests inside the Docker container without a browser. You can run Chrome driver without like headless browsing, and that didn't work for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't fix that yet, but I think the test server should work. So,
Are you using Docker Phase?
No.
No. But it's still good.
why is it? Can you say yarn? Did you say yarn already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did. That's weird.
Indeed.
I've only seen that with Docker before.
Okay. Well then, run. No, that's not gonna work. You can say rm minus rf, not module.
Yep. Yep.
And are there any changes to your yarn log file? Git status maybe? Say just git status and let me see if there's anything changed. No, just the backend. So that's fine. Then you can say yarn install again and see if the error vanished. Well, a stupid solution, but something I guess which is going to work for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the meantime, we can have a chat.
Is that how you were getting past in Docker, Joseph? Just
No.
removing
Yeah. Because when you do Docker Compose down, I think it clears
clears.
everything, and then you have to do Docker Compose up and then build again.
okay.
So it's the same thing. It's like
No.
deleting the node modules.
I think the node modules is one volume, and Docker compose down minus v removes volumes.
Yeah.
Hence, Docker compose down minus v is pretty much equivalent to remove node modules.
Yeah. Cool.
So this is interesting actually, because we are running into the endless loop on a host system. Maybe this has nothing to do with Docker at all.
Yeah, I wonder. Although I do wonder if we would run into the same thing on a different branch, like that someone from Docker didn't work on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but I've never seen that happen before, and like it's never happened to me. But I guess that's.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Mike is saying that there's no RFM meeting today.
What?
No RFM meeting? Like, yes, Mike, come join us. Funny.
Where's he? What are you talking about? Like which channel on Slack?
It's maybe it's Matt.
Yeah, he
Matt's
sent me a
channel.
DM, you know.
Direct message.
I'm gonna ping him here on RFM.
Yeah.
I think maybe he wasn't in front of the computer and he's asking for the link.
Are you in a different Slack organization?
Maybe.
I've got you're talking to me. I've got secret Slack here.
In the meantime, while you're doing this, maybe we can check out what is actually crashing the build server.
Okay.
See see if we can find something. What's the problem here? Always when you click on the pull request and the red.
Oh, so I go to GitHub. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that often. So if you see a pull request failing, and also if the pull request is from someone else, you can help them just by telling what's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, looking there and Travis and copying the error.
So you're saying if I see and identify what the error is, I tell them,
Yeah,
not fix it.
I just found that many people don't check out the build server. They just see pull requests, and they don't, for some reason, don't check out the log. So if they are not doing it, maybe you can help them, just pointing them to the right direction. So everything that's red is bad. So this is for front-end tests. Why you can tell that this is the front-end test part? Where can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
You can tell from the command itself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, front end. Okay.
Yeah, it's switching, it's changing into the front-end directory, but it's also after the environment broccoli persistent filter blah blah blah. It's saying ember test, and that's the command for testing the front end, for running the front end tests. It's on the red line to 1276. And it's after setting the environment variable. Yeah, there it is, ember test.
Okay.
There it is. Yeah, the other the rest is just an environment variable, which is specific to the build. Yeah, that's the front end test. So that happened, and it failed. So the front end tests are failing. What else? Is there something else that's failing?
That's the only thing.
So there's a lot of output. Mike Ono, hey, you found us. Hi, Mike. Finally.
Mike told us he's in the bush.
You're in the bush.
So
you're not. So that means you cannot speak.
He's muted in the bush.
He's muted in the bush.
The command Rick, bundle exec.
Yeah, and you're the rake task expert now. The rake task is just our default rake task, which includes the cucumber tests.
Ah, so it makes sense. That's failing.
Yeah, so the cucumber test failed. So this is what you can tell from just looking at the log. What else can we see? Is there something that we can reason from? Like, what is the exact cause for like one failing test? This is a stack trace. So where can we see what's going on there? So just to give you one hint, it's always, it's happening. It's always great to look on the first line of the stack trace, because that's the actual error, and everything that comes after it is the whole trace of the stack, well, the stack trace. So that's no locale defined, yes. Okay. So apparently there's no locale in the front end somewhere at sub test, and that's an acceptance test. You can see it 2 lines above. It says acceptance, broadcast 404. So that's an acceptance test, and apparently there's no locale set. So something has changed with the changes of Joseph.
Okay.
And the acceptance test doesn't have a locale now anymore. So probably we have to set it manually. Or we have to fix something else. So that's the front end part. And if you go further down and check out the one stack trace of full stack test, you can also check out, okay, what's coming first, and see what is actually the name of the actual error. What's the type of the error? So these are all front end tests.
Yeah.
And then there's no, not yet. That's one stack trace of a cucumber test. Okay, it's a little bit difficult to see because every test will just write or print a dot. So if you go on the first stack trace, you actually see the dots, and then you get to a little bit further down. So this line, no, to 1. I kind of see it. I think it's 1, 3, 2, 5. there are 2 dots, and then there's already the first stack trace.
Oh yeah, this.
Yeah. Okay. Does it make sense?
The second one. No, okay. So what about the dots? The 2 dots you're saying?
Every step just prints a dot.
Okay.
So if everything goes well, you have just 1 line of dots. But this one, it didn't go well, and there's stack traces and so on and so on. And at the end, there's a summary what exactly failed. But here we can already see it. So there are errors from the backend, because you see on that line backend.1, I think that's the one is just an index for a service, rec adding the request. And just below that, there you can see I18N, that means internationalization, invalid locale. And then empty string is not a valid locale. So what do you would say, Faith? What does that mean?
Is that we are missing this locale. When it's running, it's finding nothing.
Yeah, it's finding a mapping, and it can't find for a local empty string.
Yeah.
What would you expect? What should be there instead?
And
let me ask before you answer that. I'm not. An empty string is nothing in Ruby, because nothing in JavaScript is like undefined or null.
Empty string is neither. This is the backend, so it's Ruby. It's Rubyland, and empty string is not nil. It's empty string. It is actually true. Empty string gets evaluated to true, but this here doesn't get evaluated to Boolean or anything else. This just means there was an error from a plugin that deals with internationalization in the backend, and it says empty string is not a valid locale.
Yeah, so it should be an empty string, not nothing, because when
it
she said
isn't
nothing,
right now.
when she said nothing, I thought then maybe null in Ruby is an empty string, because nothing is like null or undefined.
Yeah, but that's this is different from JavaScript. I think empty string is false or evaluated false in JavaScript, but in Ruby it's actually true.
Yeah, so if it's true, that's why I'm saying then it's not nothing.
Yes, absolutely. It's not nothing.
Yeah.
And so the problem here is a locale is one of the keys that indicate a language. It could be DE for German, like this. And if you have the second part, I don't know how you call it, DE, that would be Germany mainland, or you can also have DE-AT for Austria. And likewise, you can have EN for Great Britain English, British English. And then there is EN US, right? So these are locales. And empty string is not a locale, so it doesn't know which locale to choose. So apparently, the front end, during full stack testing, the front end is sending a request to the backend
with nothing.
With accept language, with a header, accept language, and then empty string. And that doesn't make a lot of sense. So what we have to do is find where we set the language, make sure it's not sending empty string to the backend. EN or underscore DE, it doesn't exist, because that would mean English with German dates and currency.
Yeah.
Very funny, Joseph.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Let's reproduce this problem on your local machine, I would say. I would start off maybe with front-end tests. Or what's that?
Yeah.
Oh, you already run the full stack test. That's also, we can away with the full stack test as you wish.
No, that's something. No, that was my test.
That was something else. Okay.
What's this? This is something else. Okay. So I ran the test.
Did you? Ember tests minus server.
Okay.
So depending on which test we want to check, either the front-end tests, the JavaScript tests, or you can run the cucumber/capybara tests. So, well, yeah, you're okay. You already canceled it. Up to you. I don't want to point you into any. We have to fix both in the end. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that command is just to run the server.
Yeah, that's to run the server in order to run full stack tests. Okay, maybe let's start with front-end test. Actually, I believe that if we fix the front-end test, the full stack test will succeed and they will pass anyways. I believe they have all the same shared source of error. Yeah, the command to run front-end test is ember test --serve. That will test. It will spin up a server which you can, and you can run the tests in your browser then.
Can you, Robert? Can you share the code that Joseph needs to run the tests in Docker in the chat? Because you said something about exposing the port and then going and visiting it in a browser, but I didn't catch it. I don't know if you did.
Yeah, Docker compose run, not exec, because I don't know if Joseph has a running container. But in order to run front-end tests, that would be that one here. Docker compose run front-end, and then whatever you want to do in our server. Same thing. What Faith is doing on her machine.
I saw Bitnami there, Faith.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. Are you practicing your SSH skills?
Yes.
Nice. So, Robert, you don't okay, all right. Because I thought that was the kind of the command that he ran, but he was using yarn, but was with the test serve, and it wasn't actually. It didn't seem like it was running, but maybe that's because he didn't visit that link in the browser, or.
Yeah, probably. So yarn test will probably spin up. There is something in the package JSON scripts, and then it points to ember test serve. So yarn run test or yarn test will automatically run the tests locally without the server. If you say yarn test.:server, it will spin up the server.
Yeah, so he did that, but then it just got hung. It just got hung there in the his terminal.
Without the server, I think that doesn't work in the container yet. Maybe that's so that it was hanging because it doesn't work without the server. With the server, it should work. So yeah, great. Yeah. We can reproduce the failures on Faith machine. That's a good thing. Yay! Because now we can fix them.
Okay.
So. Maybe we can focus on one of them.
Sorry?
Maybe the first one. Maybe we just focus on one of them. You can, for example, click on shows an error page. That's actually... yeah, can you not filter for acceptance tests? We don't have to run all the 385 tests.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, Faith.
You're telling me to filter.
It makes just more easy. I think you can click on acceptance on one of those titles, and that will filter for yes. Okay, this is, as you can see in the URL, it's grabbing, and it's just running that variable. says no locale defined. And now I would check out that test case. So you can open your editor now and check out where is the test implemented? Like where does it say what's actually going on?
Okay. So
Then it's in accept the test / acceptance /
how do you know it's acceptance?
I see from the title. So the folder structure is always all the tests are in folder test, and then you have integration acceptance unit. So
Okay.
we're currently debugging an acceptance test. There's tests. There was tests already. You had it in your editor.
Yeah, there was a test there. That one.
T, yes.
Okay.
Then there's acceptance, and then you have broadcast in the
Then
title.
we have 404.
And then there's that's 404.
404 error.
Oh, that's 404. That's correct. Okay, 404. So what's going on? We're describing a 404 page. Apparently, we want to go on this page and see visit broadcast and then an ID, so broadcast 42, for example, this URL, and then we expect to find a title, and the title this is the title, line number 39.
It's line 44 that's failing. HTTP 404 from backend, I think.
Yeah, so this one is actually failing. And
okay.
Expected to find. Can you show me what exactly is failing? What line is failing? Does it say something?
Line 44, the HTTP 404 from backend.
Yeah, we could continue. We could not find that page.
Oh, yeah.
So that test case is failing, and it's failing on line number 53 because it's asking, I expect blah, blah, blah to have string. We could not find that page. You can see that also in your browser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you go back to your browser, you see it in the first line.
Mm-hmm.
Expected, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So apparently, this paragraph has the text, no locale defined, unable to resolve translation, blah, blah, blah. So that's what you see if you try to translate something and there's no locale defined. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So this
and
is
it's also why the other test is not failing, because it has the title, which we give to the broadcast, which is not translated at all. And that's why the first test case is actually passing. Does that make sense?
Not really. Could you repeat that again?
So you have a translation key somewhere in your template.
Okay.
And it is supposed to show the English translation if your current locale is English.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to show the German translation if your current local is German. Okay, so far so good.
Yes.
What does it show if you don't have a locale?
If you don't have a local, no.
Say it again.
I don't know what it's showing now.
Yeah, so you could, for example, say it could show nothing.
Okay.
But it is likely that there is some mistake done by the developer or something. So instead of showing nothing,
mm-hmm.
it's showing you no locale defined. So it's showing you a warning. The text is actually rendered in the page. No locale defined, unable to resolve translation, and then there's this translation key 404 subheader, and that's it. And this is the warning that it's which is rendered into the template at that very location. Does it make sense? Does everybody understand what I'm saying right now? Like Joseph, Matt, Mike, are you with me?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it'd be nice to see it in like a visual of it, but
Yeah.
maybe I mean it's saying like that 404 dot subheader is not being translated correctly, but
Yeah,
what
it cannot translate it because there's no locale. And if I would be this plugin, I would say the same thing. I'm not able to resolve the translation for this key. You didn't give me a locale. I don't even know what your current locale is.
Yeah, that makes
So I'm
sense.
showing you this warning, no locale defined, and then which translation I'm not able to resolve. Unable to resolve translation, this one here, 404 subheader. So 404 subheader comes from us. And the warning comes from Ember Internationalization. Okay, so this whole string is rendered in this paragraph, right? You go back into the implementation of the test case, it says it's expecting this find paragraph and then the text to have string. We could not find that page. And instead, it's just showing the this warning because we messed something up.
Yeah, this is that page that when you're not connected to the back end and you try to visit something and it's like that sad face with the 404 error and then it says that you could not find that page. Or like if you try to go to the route pizza and the route pizza doesn't exist.
So why doesn't have a locale? Our task now is to fix that front-end test and find out where's the place where it assigns nil or undefined for the current locale, which is not what we want, because we don't want to assign null or undefined or anything or nothing. We want to assign en, English, as a fallback. So at some point, it's not assigning, it's assigning nil to the locale. And I believe, from what I just saw, that Joseph, earlier in this meeting, already showed us the relevant code. Joseph, do you remember? Do you have an idea where this locale nil comes from? And so you relied on something that is not present or that doesn't existing in the test case.
So the locale, you have to click the button to change the language. That's how it
Yeah, was it something that like you were going to the session to grab something, but if the person, well, no, because that was if session is authenticated.
Yeah, so in this test, we are authenticated. And I think, as far as I remember, Joseph, you are taking from the session data the locale when you're authenticated. And then the session data is empty.
But only if you click the button, that's when you save something in the locale. So when you click the language you want to change, then it comes to, let me see if I can.
So if you're authenticated though and you haven't clicked on the button yet, then
you don't have, you must click the, it's called what? Let me share my language chooser.
Yeah, I would like you to tell Faith where she has to look into, which code she has to look into.
Like the language chooser, just Command P.
Okay.
Then language choose, not the test. So, you can look at that, but
I'm logging.
yeah. So you see, when you click the button, it triggers this action, choose, and then it gets the language that you have clicked on, and then it translates the on line 12, it translates the language, and then after that, then now it sets the locale to the language that you have
Selected.
clicked, selected, and then it saves the locale inside the user now.
So that's
So-
the place where we put the language into the session.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Joseph also showed Faith the place where we take the local out of the session.
Mm-hmm. Where was that, Joseph? That file that you showed us earlier, where it's like if the session is authenticated, go to the session.data.locale.
Oh, that now is in the. I don't think you'll have it there, but I have it on my.
Well, she pulled down your code.
Oh, on application. I forgot.
Unless it's something you have changed before you pushed up, but then
No.
that's the case.
It's
It
the
wouldn't be
latest.
changed.
It's the latest application.
Mhm.
Command P. You're in VS Code. No need to do that. And then application.
Although-
How would I learn the structure? Or it's not necessary for me to learn structure, application structure?
Yeah, application structure, you learn it like if you have free time. Let's say you just want to see like what's inside here or what's inside there. But
It's
if
when you're
there's a
like,
deadline and you have to like deliver. Did you see how we did Matthew on that pairing session? Like you go to the HTML, you find divs, and then you come and just search, and hopefully you find a HTML with that class or quickly without even looking.
I mean, if we want to really get fast, we need to take lessons in Ving like Robert, and then we can.
Yeah, I do care about the application structure, though. I once saw a talk by someone who had this metaphor of your directory layout and your application structure as the blueprint of your whole application. Like he was showing blueprints of a building, like a church or a football stadium, right? So you look at the directory structure and you can see, this is a Rails app. This is a Django application. This is a whatever application. And he was stressing the directory structure should not show you this is application in this framework, but this is an application that was used for that purpose, and so on. So apparently the application structure is important, and the directory layout and so on. So you should keep that in mind, not only search for grep for certain keywords or CSS classes or something, although that's most of the time the case.
Yeah, and you can also like find it quickly and then like go and hover over the tab and it'll tell you where it lives, you know?
Yeah, you should be able to do both.
Yeah.
Faith,
Yeah, but
already find it now?
but Faith, I would recommend learning the shortcuts. So when you are going to do like a talk, if you go and try and open the files using the directory tree, then people will be like, But when you go and just do Command P and open files quickly, blah blah boom, will be like, yeah,
Nah.
Okay,
know this.
show us,
knows that
Joseph. Do you know how we can use git grep or something similar to search for data.locale?
Yeah, you can do control shift F, well, command, I think, there,
Yeah.
and then search for VS Code. But if you want to impress people while you're giving a talk, Joseph, you need to slow down a little bit and learn Ving, because then when you can get really fast at Ving, then that's the most impressive thing.
I saw one. There's this person called Michael Jackson. He's the creator of React Router, and he uses Vim, and you can't even keep up. You know, if you're watching other tutorials, they talk, and then you can even type the code as they talk. But for him, because he's using Vim, so he's talking faster and he's writing the code faster and moving things up and down. So you have to like pause the video. You have to go back. Like, what did you say again? You have to swipe back.
So
What am I searching for?
you're looking for, I think it's session.data.locale. Is that right, Joseph?
Yes, so this is the relevant code. Yeah, there we go. So what happens here is we have the internationalization service, and we set the current locale, and we put in this. We call set locale, and we put in as an argument this .get session data locale.
Love it.
Okay, and this might be nil or null. And that's why we have null as a locale here.
No. Oh yeah. I forgot to put the other time I added it, and then when I changed the logic from not getting the user, then I forgot to add that.
So what can we do here now?
I'll let Faith try, and then Matthew if they, and
Okay.
Mike if they don't know, then I'll go ahead and try.
Yeah. Okay, Faith. Do you see the problem? Like, is it clear to you what the problem is?
I'd like to think so. So we have a session, but we've not defined whose session this is. So it's just a random session.
Yeah, so ENTL and session is a service. It comes from line number 10 and line number 11. No. Line number 11 is the session, and there should be the ENTL service. Yes,
8.
line number 8.
Mm-hmm.
So this gives, so you put this service into your component or your route. In this case, it's a route. And suddenly you can say this.get ENTL or this.get and then session. And then you access this service. So INTL, internationalization, has this method setLocale. Okay. And the session service can store data during the session. You could put anything you want in there, including, of course, why not? You can put in your locale there. And that's what Joseph did. But now the problem is in the test, the session data locale is nil. It's not set. There was nobody who clicked on the button.
Yeah, because nobody clicked on the button in the test.
So we need a fallback here. Is the problem clear? Like, does it make sense to you?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah.
So we need a user session.
No, we have the session. So on line 22, we're saying that only if the session is authenticated, so it exists, then go to line 23. If it doesn't, if there's no session, then it'll just skip past that line 23. But then if it exists, then it'll go there and it'll get the internalization, and then it'll set the locale to whatever's in the session.data.locale. But the thing is that a person can be authenticated but not have set their locale in the session.data, because maybe they don't care about setting the, maybe for example, they speak the language that's the default. And so if that's the case, then they have no reason to click on the button to save the data in the database. So the idea is that we want to check that if there's something in the session.data.locale, then we grab it. And if there's not, then we have a fallback.
Okay, so we need to add another block to account for a situation where somebody has not chosen a locale.
Yeah, it's kind of like an either-or situation, right?
Yeah.
Either do this or do this.
Yeah, either get the session in data locale or do that.
So how it's the syntax?
I think maybe the tricky thing is that to keep in mind that you're calling this function set locale already, right? So you're going to set the locale either to this or or there we go. Or
yeah. And what's the fallback?
END.
Yeah.
END.
If you check, so if
Mm-hmm.
for you to know what's the callback, so if you check that if statement, we are checking to see if the user is logged in. If
Yeah.
you are logged in, we check the session if there is a locale.
Okay.
If not, we go and then we try and get the session because you might have changed the location, the language, even if you're not logged in. So that's line 26. We are trying to get the language in the browser itself. If you can see line 26,
Yeah.
if it's there, then we use that, which if you do session.data.local, it gives you either en or de,
Yeah,
a
that's the two
string.
options we have. Like we can use either DE for German or EN for
Yeah.
English.
Okay.
So if that's not there, then we just do the default on line 31. We
Which is it.
we calculate,
Mhm.
yeah, we calculate local.
Okay. So
Yeah, we
if I
calculate the
understood this
local.
correctly, then this will be
Actually, why do you? I just see this. Yeah, not. It's actually just the string en. You can use just the string en. That's it. But okay, let's do this first before we refactor and see if the tests are now fixed. I think there's one parenthesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can remove that, I guess. Yeah, so you can just remove it. Not the whole thing, just, yeah, exactly. Now you can run the test, I think.
Is en you can just put en, you don't need to have like a locale as well?
Now we can use whatever you want. So that's the answer to the question. We're not distinguish between en for Britain or en for English. For us, it's all the same. Because we're not.
Okay, I've seen somewhere in I see somewhere in the code base, because I was looking with Joseph, that it is specifying EN-US, and I remember that because it was putting US as lowercase instead of uppercase, which I thought was interesting, because I thought it was uppercase like you wrote in the
Yeah,
chat.
but Faith, if you can scroll down and see the calculate local method, which is down, way down. Yeah.
Oh, there, calculate
So
locale.
it gets
Oh,
the
yeah.
language and then it splits, goes on the hyphen. Is it an hyphen or minus?
Yeah, it's hyphen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now it gets the first after it has splitted the.
Ah, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Well, that actually is that's a.
So when it splits that, you are going to get two items in an array.
Yeah.
EM and then
US.
GB or
GB.
yeah, or US.
Yeah, so it's an underscore, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
actually it's an underscore, not a.
Now while we get the timeout, could you run this again? Maybe this was just a timing issue. Can you just refresh the page? That should rerun the tests. Fair enough.
Woo!
What happens if you run all the tests now? Like if you remove the grep thing in the URL. See the grep part after the ampersand?
ampersand.
You remove all that?
What's the ampersand? This.
Ampersand's like the and symbol.
Ampersand. A little bit, you can remove
Grep.
that one, including the ampersand. Yeah.
Okay.
Robert, is it true that does RFM doesn't actually make use of like a map that's an interactive map for for users like to interact with. You use geocoding for other purposes.
Yeah, we use geocoding to store the approximate location for data visualizations later on.
Okay,
You
cool.
will never see the exact location of another user. That will not be possible. You will see the exact location of yourself.
Yeah.
And you will never see, also not in the future, the exact location of anybody else.
Yeah. Because I was wondering, because that I was working on that local support, but we actually use Google Maps, and so changing the geocoder like breaks all the maps, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Right. Now, this fixed all the front-end tests. Congratulations.
Woo!
We can later on see if that also fixes all the backend, all the front, all the full stack tests.
Yeah.
For now, I would rather refactor the code and see if it still works. Because if I look in the code, I think I see some redundancy.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of cases to consider. We have to consider if the user is authenticated, if the user saved the language before, meaning he clicked the button. We want to know if the user has a browser language. And as a last resort, we just take EM, English. Maybe we can put all this together. And I would like to see all this in one place and have every test case, like one line for every test case. Does it make sense? Do you think that's a good idea?
So how are we going to put that? Because the first one, it's if you're authenticated, right?
Yes.
So if you're not, maybe you have just gone to rfm.com and then you have changed the language and you refresh the page and you are not logged in. That's line 26 job to get the language that you had changed, and then it stores it back and translates the language. If not, then you get the default.
Yeah, so first of all, the function calculate locale. I would actually put that into here. Like, we did not see the behavior, and I think you can just cut everything. And I think this is the only place where this function is used anyway. Just move it up there. Just put everything that's related into one place. Yeah, calculate locale is used in line number 31, and you can place it just before. It's up to you. Between 30 and 31, maybe.
Okay, I have to catch a cab or a bus, I should say. I have to go home.
Oh yeah, of course, no problem. So, Joseph, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, and you still forgot to mention me at Twitter. Has been a year now.
You forgot to mention me on Twitter? Or did I forget to mention you on Twitter?
Yeah, you forgot to mention me. Yeah. That was like 2 years ago. You said that you were going to mention me.
You on Twitter.
Twice. Nope.
So dramatic.
Not twice, not even once.
It is that wrong Twitter account.
Okay, bye. I have to.
No, you're joking? Or
We'll see you when you're famous.
No, I'm not joking. Actually, you haven't mentioned me.
but you're Semigosi.
Yeah, that's my account.
I see used twice. No, once. So what I currently see is this one here. That one. So that's my Twitter feed. So this is RFM, the Twitter account of RFM. Oh, sorry. Left column, that's RFM, and there's you. And this is
Yeah.
my personal user account, in which I just translate everything from German to English. So I thought I was mentioning you.
Yeah, because if you come to notification, there's nowhere I've ever been mentioned
No.
in my life. I even created a scraping.
Oh, look, it's
using-
there. It's there in capital letters. I don't know if that makes a difference on.
Yeah, I think your account name has capital letters.
Yeah.
All
So what are you
fine.
talking about? You're clearly being mentioned. It's right there. Last week, Semigossi added a button to show the Twitter feed.
You'll be left, Joseph.
Oh, bye.
You got mentioned in English and in German.
But I can't see anything at my end. Okay, bye.
Well, you know, that sounds like anyways.
Okay, back to topic. And Mike is back. So if you can refactor this code by making calculate locale a function that you can pass into down below. So if you want to make it a valid JavaScript, you can, for example, on line number 31, instead of function, say const, then calculate locale, and then equals. So you just make an assignment between calculate locale. You just say, yeah, and then you put in the arrow thing, the arrow
Greater than.
No, not there. Between the parentheses and the curly brace. It's almost correct, and you have to put it there. Yes. And that's one character is missing. That's you have to put it, make an error. Yes. So this is no, that was just correct. So put in the assignment.
Oh, assignment. Okay.
So that means you have a value calculate locale, and you make it a function. And
An anonymous function.
You're calling it. That's valid JavaScript. The test should still pass. Can you double check if the tests are still passing?
Is that an anonymous function?
No, that is an anonymous function. Well, depends on what you call an anonymous function. You just gave it a name. You called it calculate locale because it's the name of the variable. But an anonymous function, okay, yes. So the part on the right is an anonymous function.
But so they're on line 36 though, where you're saying calculate locale, and with the parentheses afterwards, that seems like you're still calling a function.
Yes. So calculate locale is a variable. It is resolved to whatever you put in on line number 31, and then you call it with the parentheses. That's a call. Then you execute it.
So how's that? How is that different than just, instead of saying const, just saying function? And because it seems like even more characters now.
I don't get it.
It seems like you've made the code base like more characters instead of less characters.
Yeah, we want to slowly remove this function altogether, maybe.
Okay.
So what can I see? So the first thing I can see, so that we have everything in one place now. So that's better, because we don't have to scroll down if we want to see where the language coming from. Everything is close to each other. Everything that's related to language. Okay, that's one advantage. And now we want to dry it up, remove redundancy. So first case is great. If we authenticated and we have something in session data locale, then use it. But on line number 26, I can see that last locale is again session data locale. So why not say last locale, then check if it's not nil and if we are authenticated, and then use it. Because on line number 22, we ask, are we authenticated? So, but now I have also to think myself. So if we are authenticated and there's something in the session, that would be because we clicked the button for. Why are we using, why are we interested if we are authenticated at all? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, because if we try to set it to, if it's nil, the session.data.locale, that means that we're not authenticated, right?
No, that doesn't mean we are not authenticated.
No, because you can click on to change the language for that session.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, even if you're not authenticated.
So why did he had this
To check.
for authenticated here? It doesn't
I
make any.
think to get the, because he was trying to get the the language from the database if we're authenticated.
But there's no call to the database here. The call to the database is made in another route. I mean, Faith, you can check out routes, authentication, and then callback. And that's what happens when you authenticate with the backend. So you store you query the record, and then you say get locale, and if the locale, then set locale.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you set it already. So that happens when you log in. The first time when you log in.
Yeah. It looks like he was thinking that this.get internationalization was maybe
So it's much better. It's much better to put in the to save it in the session here. I don't see session data locale. So if you go back to application, I think I know what he wants to do. If you go back to application, so you could no. So where does session data locale come from? It has to be set somewhere. Can you do this Control-Shift-F thing with session data locale once again? Yeah, I'm searching for. I'm interested in where does session get data locale get set. I only see this get, not this set session data locale. This has to be set somewhere. No, this is not it.
Well, it needs to get set when the person clicks on the button on the flag. No?
Set locale is different from the this.set thing. This.set and this.get are getters and setters in Ember.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And the set locale is a method which is coming from a plugin, in this case, in internationalization. So where does that get from? Is it possible that this never worked? He's never setting it? This seems so. I think he's never setting it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe this never worked. Okay, which is fine.
I think it's, sorry, I think it was getting, instead of session.data.locale, I think it was just data.locale. Because I think it's being set.
That is also possible. So maybe search for
set in when the person clicks on the button or the flag. So instead of searching for session.data, just search for data.locale. And I think then that's what's.
Yeah, this will give us more results. No.
No.
Yet? Oh, there it is.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah.
Number 13. So he's only setting data locale in when he's
Yeah, this I think is with
So okay, fair enough. Okay, there we go. Yes. And then you can copy that one. Copy this entire line. The whole line. And now go back to application call this callback route. No, not this one. That one. So here on line number 16, he is setting the locale. He's changing the locale, which is fine, but he's not saving it into the session. So just after that line, you can put in what you have in your clipboard right now. Just paste it. That's it. Oh, and remove here it's called locale, not lang.
Okay.
We should be more consistent, I guess. Yeah, so this is it. So that means when you're authenticated, the first time, so you log in, you say your browser is in English, okay? But let's say you would speak German and you save German in your user profile in the backend, in the database. So you browse in English, you don't click the change language button, you just log in. And then your language changes, but it's also saved in your session. So when you refresh the page again, it's still there. We can try it out. So remove line number 17 and see the behavior how it is right now. Just go to the browser window.
I need to run the server.
Yeah. The backend and the front end. By the way, Faith, it's been a while already, and I don't want to. It must be late in your place. I forgot the time.
It's 10:39.
You want to change to the back end, no? And then
you could, yeah, you want to change to the front end actually, and
the
then
front end's running already.
Really?
Yeah, front end's running there.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So you want to change to the back end and then Rails serve.
Yeah, so Matt and Faith, it's very interesting now, but I don't want to. I want you to get enough sleep. So, Faith, if it's too late, don't worry. We can continue on later on.
Okay.
It's up to you. We can just continue on. For me, it's okay.
It's still okay.
All right. So then, okay, then let's try it out. So the scenario is the following. You saved German in your user profile. Your browser is in English, which is great. So you log in first. Just log in. What's the issue?
Backend's not.
Can you refresh, maybe? Is the backend not running?
It seems like it.
Probably missing migrations or something like that. Can you? Yeah, migrate first.
Have you heard of a library called Leaflet?
Yeah, we're using it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Nice.
So what's that? Maybe drop and recreate
users already.
Database again. Bin Rails, db drop, db create, db migrate, and db seed after that. db drop, db create, and db migrate.
And db seed.
Yeah, it was an issue. Apparently, we cannot run db seed in one line for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was strange. It's a bug on Rails.
Too many DBs, huh?
Maybe. And now say db seed.
Maybe it's not asynchronous. Tries running seed before it runs the migrations. Did you just start using Leaflet after Geocode 1.5.0?
What is that?
That's weird. Connection refused.
What?
Huh.
Ah, your Redis is not running.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you start your Redis server? Because you're not in Docker, you have to start all the dependencies your own.
What's the command?
Bundle exec sidekick, no?
No, that's not the Redis.
Oh, no.
I don't know. Depends on your operating system, how you start your Redis server.
OS X, she's using Mac. I don't think there are any instructions here even about Redis, are there?
You don't even have to run the receipts in order to figure you can run Redis if you want, but
what's the command for running the server?
You're not having a Mac OS machine by a coincidence?
By a coincidence.
You're in Linux. No?
No, she's in OS X.
Yeah, Matt, you're using Linux. You cannot help right now.
Well, she's on Mac, but I'm looking up how to start in Mac. You have Redis installed, don't you?
I don't know. I don't know if I formatted machine and never installed.
You can run the command redis -server and see, and then like maybe ask the version to see if you even have it installed. But yeah, like I guess like the thing about seeding it is that normally we don't use seeded users.
I think it's
So
one word, Redis, and then
yeah,
no space, and then server. No space in between. Yeah.
There we go.
This is it already. So you could run another terminal and start the backend, and then
It did look like it said it's already running.
now it's running, but it's just the Redis server. So if you run the seeds now, that should work. Can you show us the terminal? It's not telling you if what? Yeah, now it's so apparently the seed was indeed it was running fine, and now it's complaining. It's not complaining that there's no Redis server. It's complaining that now in the backend the data in the Postgres is not unique anymore. If you want to get rid of that, finally just do the whole thing again, drop the database, and
create it, migrate it.
Yeah, but you see the problem if you create some data, if you create users, then there's a job added to geolocate the users, and the job will complain about the missing Redis. Yeah, this is the one.
Right.
It's a little bit stupid. Maybe we can fix the seeds into not use.
I think you need to start your server again, no? Or did you leave it running?
Logged in.
Yeah, but the backend is not running, is it? See? Can you
How
see?
do I know?
If you scroll down, you should see, yeah, so that means the smiley icon in the middle means there's no backend.
Yeah, you need to start the bin Rails.
Not in this folder?
In the, backend folder.
Now, if you refresh the page, then you should see the statistics down there. There you go. So everything is fine now. Okay, so if you log in now, what was that?
That's weird.
You are using the full stack environment. Yes, so can you go back to this screen? Yes, the terminal where you have the Ember server. So full stack environment will stop out the authentication. So you stop that. This here, you say just Control C, and then arrow key up. You just repeat the last command, but this time remove environment full stack. Yeah, and remove city frontend. Just Ember server. That's it. So do you see why?
No.
Ember so environment can run your front in other environments. The default environment is development.
Okay.
So now you're starting your server in development environment. If you want, let's say if you have a build server and you authenticate users, you don't want to send traffic to auth0, don't you?
Oh.
Yeah, so and for full stack testing, we are using a stopped authenticator. So if you click on login, something else is happening, and there's no request made to auth0.
Okay.
And that's why you see this, oops, there was something wrong. And now you see this window where you can sign into auth0. Yeah. Oh, you have a lot of different Gmail accounts.
It's a hacker.
So the previous behavior was if you change the language now, the language will be persisted to your user account. So now you set German, and it's stored in your user account. Now say log out and log in, and
yeah, it's saved in the session as well.
Change to English first. Yeah, so now it's English, and now log in, and the expected behavior is the whole page should automatically change to German.
Yep.
There you go.
Sometimes that message, thanks for logging in, is in German, and sometimes it's in English. We noticed that when we were testing it.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
So let's close the window. And so this was the expected behavior. The page is in German. You didn't do anything. It was automatically changed to German, but it's not in your session. So what happens if you refresh the page now? Just refresh the page. Now, the whole procedure again, but you add this one line in your edit.
That's why you commented at that line. Now I got you.
Okay, so this one.
This whole procedure is run when you sign in. On sign in, this means this is the callback when you go back from auth0. You land up in RFM, and then this logging in procedure will wait. It will make a request to the backend, and then it will wait for it. And then things happening, and you go back to the landing page or whatever, wherever you came from. So you can see line number 13 is querying the record. It's forcing a refresh, so it will definitely send an HTTP request. And if the user is there, that means there was a response. Yeah, so it's JavaScript promise. It says then and then user, and user is the name for your response, and you do something with the user. So you check if there's a locale, you get the locale from it, and line number 14. And if the locale is not null, then you translate the page. That is line number 16. But you also save it to the session. That's line number 17.
Okay.
So if this works, which I feel like it should, my expectation is it should, then all of the other code that's like checking if a person is authenticated and all that kind of stuff is redundant, correct?
A little bit. I'm still have to get my brain around it. So you're logged in? No, you're logging in right now. So I don't know what is in your user profile now, but you can,
German.
Yeah, okay, it's German. And what happens if you refresh the page now? Still German. Okay,
Yep.
Great, cool, fixed. This was it. So he's setting the session data when he's logging in or when he's clicking the button, which makes sense. Okay, fair enough. So next thing, let's refactor the code. So are the tests still going okay? Can you check if the front-end tests are actually working fine? Refresh the page maybe and rerun all the tests. Yeah, looks good so far.
Wow.
Cool. Okay. Everything okay. Now let's refactor the code. And we want to refactor not this code, but in application.js, like the main route and this procedure here. So I don't think we actually need the line number 22 to 24. I don't think this is necessary at all.
Yeah, that's what I was
Is it?
expecting.
Let me. No, because we have last locale on line number 26. So if there was something in the session, it's gonna take it from there. I think this should work. Yeah, they still work.
I think so as well. Have you read Ryder's blog about setting expectations?
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet. Have you read it, Robert?
How to set expectations? What?
He wrote a blog about like before running your tests or before you should set expectations on what you think is going to happen, because it gives you a deeper understanding of the system that you're working with.
Yeah, in your mind, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Or like, not just and when you're working together and stuff like that, like instead of just going and running the tests and seeing what it, saying, like pausing for a second and saying like, okay, so what do we expect?
Yeah,
I expect this to happen.
It's something you should definitely encourage on pair programming like this. So we should ask Faith more often. Faith, what do you expect? What's going to happen now? So after you commented out the code, what do you expect?
Expect the same thing to happen.
Yeah. Nothing should happen. Like it should not change. It should not change.
Yeah.
It should behave exactly the same way how it did before. And I think it does, because you refresh the page, you could see it was still German. You did that before, I noticed. Yeah, you can refresh the page once more and still German. Fair enough. Okay, so we can remove all this.
And all the tests are still passing?
The tests should all pass, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, remove that one. Don't need that. So last locale, we still need that one. So if last locale, then set that one and return. So this is a break. Like return will end the whole thing, which is fine, which I think is absolutely okay. And then we have calculate locale. So that means there's no locale in the session. This authentication thing, we did that before. So if we authenticate it on the very moment when we authenticate, we take it from the backend and we store it simply in the session. So if there was something from the backend, it's already in our session now. So we can just take last locale on line number 25. That's fine. So everything from line number 28 to line number 32 deals with the case we don't have anything in the session and the user is not authenticated. We just have to resort back to the browser language. All right. And then there's, yeah.
So is there this user language then? User language, presumably, it sounds to me like user language would be dealing with someone who is authenticated. Or is that?
Which one? User language?
Yeah.
That one. No. So this is called on a global called Navigator.
Yeah.
So there's JavaScript globals that doesn't need to be imported. There are JavaScript called window, Navigator, console, document.
Yep.
So Navigator is one of those. And Navigator is available in all browsers. And depending on your browser, either you have language or you have user language.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know which is which, but I don't know.
You need to have that as a use case.
You can try it out in your browser, Faith. Please go ahead, open your developer tools, and just try it out. What do you have in Navigator? If you say Navigator language or Navigator user language, what it says. Navigator.
So mine has language. You're saying some browsers have, some computers or some browsers have user language?
Yeah, I think so. Old browsers maybe, or Internet Explorer once again.
Like my Chrome doesn't have user
Internet
language.
Explorer is always the one to blame. So this one is
That's the-
Firefox, and it has language. They have. So,
Mine has language as well.
and does it have
Mine Chrome.
only user language? Maybe it has both.
No, it doesn't have. User language is undefined.
Use the agent, but no user language. Okay, so user language is definitely some other browser, but it is, you have language, and then it's taking that one first. If there's a nil, it tries to navigate the user language, and if that doesn't work, it just uses en.
Oh, interesting. So my Firefox has user language as US, and my Chrome has Portuguese Brazilian, and neither Firefox nor Chrome has user language.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I guess like my question was, is that user language is not something that's is not a function that RFM is defining.
No, not at all.
Yeah, because it's using Navigator.
Dot split.
Yeah,
you have to put it in somewhere.
Sorry?
The
There's
hyphen.
no
There's no hyphen.
You need to put
Okay.
like a
So
hyphen,
what's the nature of the string we're expecting?
like GGHH or GGH hyphen,
No. Oh, GGH hyphen. Oh,
and then it'll split it at the hyphen.
okay. So what's
Yeah,
the
you
nature
should.
of the thing the languages we expect? It's always in
Yeah, it's like EN hyphen CA or something. Yeah.
EA. So
Yeah.
it's like that. Okay.
By the way, that's a good practice to always track that in the console. But however, this time I would suggest to you that you use the JavaScript console, because JavaScript will always behave differently than Ruby. So you tested JavaScript code in the Ruby console. I would suggest to test JavaScript code in the JavaScript console. You can do that here. Yeah. Same thing.
I like your theme better than mine. I need to change mine.
Dot split. Yeah. There you go. That is it. So it just splits all the where it can find hyphen, and gives you an array.
Okay.
And even if there's no hyphen at all, it will give you the whole thing back inside an array. And that.
Okay. Nice.
So we are just interested in the first part, that is en or de, and then we take that. So I think it looks almost cool. I would just we probably can just remove the whole function thing here. Like it's all fine. I mean, we can declare inside that font, inside that whole thing, and just use it.
You're breaking. Are you breaking? What are you saying?
Yeah, you're breaking up for me as well. But you were saying remove that entire function because either the person is going to have German stored in their session, or you're going to default to English.
No. I was just saying that there's no need to have to put everything to wrap it in a function.
Oh, okay.
You can take out the body of the function, and yeah, like.
Okay.
Hey, buddy. I gave you food.
So and remove.
I gave you food.
So where do I take the body of the function?
Yeah, just there. And you don't have calculate locale, but you put in something like maybe on line 30 you would assign it to something. Instead of return, you would assign it to something and then put that into set locale.
Okay. So
you could, for example, just say lang equals, and that's it. So you have lang defined already on line number 29. That's locale split, in the first part of it, and then you just check if it's actually included in DE or EN. And then you put in lang into this set locale. Instead of calculate locale, you just say lang for lang.
So this lang will it'll check like if the DE or EN includes the language first, and then if it does, then it'll reassign the constant language lang to lang, else it'll assign lang to EN.
Yeah, so if you have your browser in French,
yeah,
so we don't have translations for French.
Yeah.
So if we wouldn't have line number 30, then you would see missing translation for French all over the place.
Yeah, but I guess my question was, is that it moves from right to left. Like it'll check if the D or EN includes the language from line 29. And if it does, then it will assign that language to the new constant language from line 30. Otherwise, it's English. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it assigns lang to lang, not doing anything, or EN.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, maybe you can remove the ternary expression. You could also just say, you can do this with an if statement, I believe. So in Ruby, it would be a little bit cleaner. You could just say lang equals EN if DE or EN doesn't include lang.
Yeah, unless DE or EN.
JavaScript, the only thing to do that is, I don't like that one. So you would have if the same thing, and then just after it, this assignment. I think it's not very pretty, but you can try it out.
You don't have unless.
I don't have a
JavaScript. No, there's no unless. Okay, maybe we remove the ternary operator. Actually, the ternary operator itself is also not very pretty. No. So you put everything in front of the question mark into this. That's the condition. Yeah, and you can cut that and put it up there. Just say that if that. Yeah, now you would actually you're checking if it doesn't include it. So you say exclamation mark in that one. Yeah, just put an exclamation mark now inside. Yeah, there, and then you say if it doesn't include it, if it's for example French or Russian or whatever, or Chinese, just make it EN then.
No, you don't need an else, I guess, because the point is like if it doesn't include, then change the variable. If it does include, then leave it the same.
Okay.
So I think lang equals EN or no?
Yeah.
Like on 31, lang equals EN. No, yeah, lang.
That's it.
And then do you need a semicolon or
no?
Don't need, no.
I don't think so. And if so, ESLint will tell you.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh.
I think it was. Yeah, you go saving as you work, no? That's good. Oh, that's not good.
Oh. ENUS.
Why ENUS?
Right. The splitting is not in there anymore, is it?
You're splitting, yeah.
No, we are splitting.
Yeah.
Did you save it?
No.
No.
You're using const. You're using const on line number 29. But it has
so you can't change it.
No, okay.
A const.
Yeah, let and const. In JavaScript, they make a difference. A const, you can never change const. But on line number 31, we are changing it, so we have to use let.
But that doesn't explain to me why you would have ENUS.
No, it doesn't explain to me either why there's ENUS. Maybe it's just not transpiling, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Now the tests are fixed. Okay, cool. I think this is it. We did a refactoring, and maybe you can, as a one last thing, you can check if ESLint likes us. So you can run yarn run ESLint or something, or oh no, it's included in the front-end test, is it?
Yeah, it's included in the front-end test.
Yeah, okay. Everything is fine. So front-end tests are running fine.
And then when you push it, the CI will test the full stack test for us, no?
Yeah. So you can now add everything, I guess, and say fix front-end test or something. Oh, maybe not everything. Maybe everything which is in front-end.
Yeah, because there's some stuff that Faith was working on before.
But so if I just do git add front-end, it should add everything.
No, it just adds everything from front-end folder. Not
everything is changed in the front-end. Yeah. Yeah.
Now you can commit and say we've just fixed front-end tests.
And the front.
Fix front-end tests. Yeah. Cool. And push it.
You only fixed one test, huh, Faith?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I know. I'm just joking.
So we'll get a message if now all the full stack tests are also working fine. And I believe you changed the label of the button. Nice.
Okay.
Or did you?
What?
Can you? You changed. Now have a say.
That's weird. There's distributor. Is this
maybe it's because Google, when you click on translate this page, who translates it? Is it Google Translate? Because they could.
Okay.
They could be, because they have a interesting whatever translation.
All right. Okay. I thought, what is going on? Did we accidentally add everything, and you did some little changes?
So you see, participate now. Now, how was it?
Where's the translate? I want to see again.
Yeah. All right. So everything is good. Okay. Fair enough. Cool. That was a very great session, I would say.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm glad I took a break from local support.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of work right now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many projects are you involved in right now?
I mean, I feel like it's maybe even less than it was before. Because, well, I mean, now that Sam's back, we're doing that, sprint 1 week and then normal week the other week, and so I'm still trying to get kind of, my schedule, ironed out. This week we're doing local sports, but then there's still. I'm doing mostly local sports stuff this week, but I don't like missing RFM meetings, so.
All right. So I guess we fixed I believe that we fixed all the language part, and then we can save it, merge it, deploy it, mention Joseph.
Yeah, you got to mention him.
Not gonna miss him.
I'm sad if you don't mention him,
And what else is there? I'll quickly check what else we have for you. So still nobody wanted to do the D3 thing, although it's super interesting.
I wanted to do it, but.
Oh, and you also want to test Rake tasks, and you want to teach me how to write software tests for Rake. And you added one issue: RSpec, Brakeman, and Rubocop rake task all in one. Yeah, great, cool.
I shared there the that blog we were talking about today. If you want to have a read, Robert, I shared it there in the
nice
in the chat. So
great,
cool. Everything up there.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Have you done any pairing with Ryder before or no?
With Ryder, never. I did never pairing with Ryder. He didn't even know he's blogging.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a newer thing, but yeah,
No, it's not new.
No? Oh, okay. Faith's a blogger as well, actually. I don't know why you're laughing. It's true. I've read your blog before.
Is it also on Medium? Can you send me a link, Matt?
Yeah, the Faith blog. Yeah, I can send you that. It's about NPM, actually. Let me think. What is Faith's blog? Let's see. How good is...
Well, so just to ask, the Brakeman, Rubocop, and RSpec should be tasks in one file, in one rec file, right?
Yeah, it would make sense for having everything in one. You can bundle exec rake and everything starts like Brakeman, Rubocop, and you don't have to add so many different commands to our build server.
Oh, okay.
There it is. It's on Medium.
How to lock down your project's node version using NVMRC or engines.
Nice.
This was actually this is something that got merged into local support as well after some time.
It looks like a great blog post.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to writing this Robocop, RSpec, and Brakeman blog as well.
Yes.
So can I somehow like this one? Or clap? Yeah, clap. Sign up with Google. Already have an account now. I do have to sign with Google. Isn't there no email sign up? Well, okay. Let's sign up. So
really, Medium doesn't have any support for other
doesn't
email?
seem so.
Huh. We've got our so far in the sprint we've kind of got the local supports deployed on production on Doku.
Cool. So you deployed in Docker.
Well, we actually are not using Docker, which is interesting. We're using like Heroku-ish, I guess, but it feels like we could be using Docker because we have a Docker file for local support, but I think because we have Heroku-ish, it's just bypassing our Docker file. Like we have a proc file, which I'm not sure. I was reading some stuff about having a proc file and a Docker file in the same project and how they can conflict with each other in Doku. But yeah. Anyways, we've gotten it up and we're hopefully going to get to the place where we can actually switch over, because right now we're paying 20 or 30 reais or dollars per month for Heroku, and Doku we can just do for free. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I just clapped on your Medium blog post, Faith, and you have a new follower, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say this is a great time to say, let's finish this meeting.
Auf Wiedersehen.
No?
Yes.
No.
Then I will hit the stop broadcast button, and is it for the recording.